too long ago.
Hello, everyone,
Hey.
and welcome to the Mack Brothers podcast.
Mack Brothers podcast. You could tell we're free spirits here.
Free spirit.
The Mack Brothers.
Is that a new decoration?
It is.
It is.
We're gonna
Wow.
just keep adding. We're just gonna keep adding corny, fall themed additions
Hey.
to my back
like it.
wall.
Hey, John,
What's up?
we have a friend. We have
Yeah.
we have a
Yeah,
new
we
friend
do.
of the podcast on today.
We have a friend of the pod. We've actually done his podcast before, and
Drum roll,
Kevin
Mr.
Kevin Vargo
Kevin Vargo
from
Wow.
Mid Park.
from Mid Park.
Kevin, first question for you: Is
Okay.
Mid Park mid?
Is it mid? Like, is that the question?
Is it like average?
Is it average?
I didn't know if there was a second part of that question or if you were stopping literally. Is it mid?
No, is it mid?
No, it's everything but average, man. It is beyond greatness. I'm excelling for nothing but the absolute best. I will never accept average for this. I've accepted average for everything in my life up until this point, and this will be the one thing that I do not do that with.
Beautiful. And I do want to clarify.
I'm so inspired now.
I do want to clarify. I didn't actually mean your platform, which we will get to, and how much fun it was.
You mean the
podcast.
pronunciation?
I mean the actual park.
The actual park, yes.
How is that park?
The actual mid park.
Yeah.
It's pretty. That we can say that's pretty mid.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
So the name makes sense.
Yeah, we could say that's pretty mid.
So I feel like
The name's true, but it's not representative of the show.
There you go.
So I feel like we have a similar mid park in our lives. There's a park in South Philly called Marconi,
Okay.
and it's a two-sided park, and it's about basically, would you say it's a block long on each side? So it's about 2 blocks worth of park in South Philly, right on Broad Street. And it is where I grew up. I drank 40s. I had my first kiss. I had my first
Speaking of drinking
other
40s,
stuff.
We're listen, man.
it's the night before Thanksgiving. I mean, I got it,
That's what you do, right?
Right.
I have work tomorrow.
Oh,
I know.
no,
Listen to
don't
this
tell me
show.
that.
Security.
I'm working 7 to 11, getting paid 8 hours.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Holiday. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It
I've
doesn't
worked-
affect the Thanksgiving day, so
No, I've worked some holidays in my life, man. Sometimes, that builds character. You got to do
Yeah,
it.
it does. When I worked at the casino, I worked through Christmas Eve, New Year's, all of them
Yeah.
until Thanksgiving, because then I moved on to bigger and better things.
There you go.
So, Kev,
Yes.
I feel like we're on I can shorten your name down to, maybe I'll just call you K.
You can call me nothing if you want. I mean, just
special K.
Let's
just
talk
click.
about-
Just snap your fingers.
How did Mid Park start, and not the actual park? How did your platform start? How did you get into the
How'd you get into the game?
multimedia platform or the multimedia business?
The game.
Whew, it's a great question. I have a tendency to ramble, so I will do my best to make this, very concise. So I was laid off from my job, my corporate job at Yelp in April of 2020 due to COVID. Up until that time, regardless, my life was never one of those like, oh yeah, this is all great and this is exactly what I want to be doing. I never loved the corporate jobs that I had. My 20s were a lot different than I think than most people's, at least that I was spending time with. A lot of people in my realm are at this point married with kids, doing the thing, and that's fine. Just wasn't what I wanted to do ultimately. So when I was laid off, man, it was just one of those reflection points of like, I'm sitting at home and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? What do I want to do? And I did have the luxury of the unemployment at the time, getting paid quite a bit to sit at home, which wasn't, I will be first to tell you, that was nice. For the first time in my life, I was able to actually sit back for a month or two and kind of just think about things. But here I go rambling already. It was May 9th, 2020. And
This is good.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. It was May 9th, 2020. I remember it very much. I was literally sitting at this physical table, not in this spot, but this physical table I'm sitting at in my kitchen in Chicago. I was trying to think of like creative ways to come up with like a brand name. Like, like I did, it came with Mid Park. Creative ways, but that would be special to me that I would like genuinely care about. And so, Mid Park is itself my dad's high school that he went to in the 70s. It actually doesn't even exist as that anymore. It's now Berea Mid Park High School with another town, whatever. There.
That's
My
not
dad,
a catchy podcast name.
yeah,
Maria Mid Park. What was it?
Berea with a B. Berea, basically Maria with a B.
Oh,
Berea.
Berea Mid Park. Yeah, you had to cut the Berea out. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So my dad's very important to me because he passed away. And regardless of that, like he and I, I think my brother is a lot more like my mom. I'm a lot more like my dad. We both have traits of each, but my dad and I are always very close, especially with music and such. So I wanted to find a way to, possibly honor him if possible. And Mid Park, or what he used for his like trivia screen name when we would always go to restaurants and shit growing up, was Mid Park 76, the year that he graduated. So I'm thinking, how can I put a spin on it? And honest to God, I can't tell you anything other than it just came to me. It just came to me. And when it did, it clicked. I knew it. I knew that was the name that I wanted to run with. So from there, the original plan was really just to create things, organically with myself. I'm a published poet, and that was kind of where I started, was publishing poetry, on my Instagram with the Mid Park name, all this, that. It started as Mid Park Poetry and Art by Kevin Vargo. I'll skip all the stuff in the middle. It got to a point where, I was running the website pretty good. I had an established podcast. And then in March of 2021, so about 11 months, 10 months later, I just decided, I had already assembled a team of bloggers and stuff, but I decided at that point, like, music is my passion, and music is kind of the reason that I started this to begin with, that relationship that I have with my dad, that the influence from the early parts of my life. So I'm going to go forward in music. And I felt it from, the very beginning. Started out the first month or two covering, mainstream music like John Mayer, Florence and the Machine, my favorite artist. Nobody gave a fuck, right? Because, there are 50 other outlets covering those artists. When I saw the response to my first band interview that I did with a local band, which was, I did one with Ultimately Fruitless in Chicago, but that was kind of before everything. One in the Chamber from Toronto. I saw the response from the local community, and that was honestly one of the first clicks in my head where I was like, man, this could really be something. I've always been into music. I've always been into my college degrees in communication journalism. I've worked in media before in college. So that's kind of how it all got started again, man. I know I ramble on like a motherfucker, so I'll leave it there and let you ask any questions. But that's the baseline.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think we said it when we did your podcast, but the story is inspiring. Especially like it didn't come easy. You had a, it's funny because when we started music, all of Matthew's friends were, I mean, we were in high school, but um, most of my friends, Matthew was too young to really know where his friends were going to be, and most of my friends were already losers.
Yep.
So me becoming a musician made sense because at least I had something going on that wasn't, what my friends were getting down with. You know what I mean? Like I had like a separation of it.
Yep.
And then, so we started very young. For you to be in your late 20s and it was obviously COVID. COVID was actually how the Mack brothers started. We were under a different name. We had actual bandmates and stuff like that. They were, but anyway, so like for you to decide, take them 2 months off and decide, you know what, this is what I have to be doing because it's just what I feel and it's going to keep me going. I mean, that takes balls. A lot of people trap themselves in a little world that they don't want to be in. So kudos to you.
I appreciate it, man. I have been in this for the long haul since it started. Yeah, I mean, it's very humbling, when I hear things like that. I mean, I knew and I have a job right now. I'm on my work laptop doing this interview. I got a 9 to 5 that keeps paying the bills, but I've known from the very beginning that this was not going to be an overnight thing. My mom and I are very close, brother, some best friends. They were all asking at the very beginning. I kept just telling them, just believe in what it is. Just believe in it. Just give me 3 to 5 years, 3 to 5 years. They kept asking, like, how are you going to make money? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? And I said, I don't know. I don't care to know because it's going to happen one way or the other. I feel so very strongly about it. I know it. I'm going to put all my fucking balls, all my effort, all I have into this because, we were joking at the beginning, but I was very serious and like, much of my life to this point has been average, and that's whether, it's just happened how it happened or what. I'm not, playing victim. It's just how it is, man. Like, this is the one thing that, I just care about deeply. And, for me, it's about making a name for myself, and being able to do that while amplifying local bands and local artists like yourselves that are the same as me. That's the best part, is like I talk about mutual growth all the time. And like I believe that so wholeheartedly. Like Mid Park is nothing without all of the bands, all of the people. So yeah, it's very humbling, and I hope that it just keeps growing.
I think it actually did grow a little. I want to say since we started following you, it might have grew like 300 people on Instagram. I
Yeah,
don't know if
man.
that's true, but
No, I get and
you're
I
rolling.
swear on my father's grave, I have never paid a dime and never will pay a dime for fake followers or anything like that. And fuck that.
Namesies.
I think just real quick with the fake followers thing, that's a problem.
Oh, you know what? Well, let's talk. No, the people that we're about to talk about don't watch this. So there's a band. We're not going to say their name, but there's a band where
Oh, I can't wait.
we take the piss out of them real hard
Oh my God, yeah.
because
They definitely have fake followers.
they
for
have
sure.
they have an abundance of fake followers.
Yeah.
And it's actually hysterical because they'll post stuff like, we just want to give a shout out to we no we're so grateful and honored that we're given this award for Song of the Summer, and it's like a literal like plaque
It's like
of
a
their
plaque.
record,
Yeah.
and they were like, we're so thankful that this local radio station gave us this award. They don't name the radio station. They don't they like
There's a lot of holes in the story.
A lot of holes in the story.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
holes in the story that they're putting on.
the rate the not the radio station. They don't name this local radio station. So that's the first flag. The second flag is you go on their Spotify, and the numbers are just out of this world for like 3 songs, and then the rest of them are like 13 listens, 14, or like it'll be like negative 1,000.
It's like a realistic listener count for a small group.
Now, at first, you would think to yourself, well, you know what? I mean, they might just had a couple singles that popped off, and we got played on. This year we got played on a lot of
we were on the charts. We were on the charts.
We charted, I think 118 out of 1,000 for a couple weeks.
Nice.
Like we were doing pretty well. We got some recognition from it. And we also know someone that knows the band that we're talking about, and they're just like these fucking guys that are
they're
just
normal guys
shit.
that want to make that are in real life like to make music, but for some reason when it comes to the Spotify and this and the social media, they just pumped all this money in for fake stuff. And I think that's why maybe someone like yourself might click and get that organic engagement, because you're just being yourself. You're doing what you like to do. You're good at what you do. You're very good at we were interviewed by you, so we have experience.
Yeah.
You're very good at interviewing artists. You could tell that this isn't like when we went on your podcast. This clearly wasn't the first conversation you had with the band or group or other musicians. So that's why you probably are getting growth, because it's organic.
Absolutely. You're 100% right, man. Like, yeah. And that goes back to the idea of it not being an overnight thing, man. I really attribute a lot of what I know in building a community and a team to sports and my background in sports. And, knowing that nothing that is worthwhile, happens overnight. This, I've said a few times, this is the main thing in my life. It really is. Every single night, and every day, while I'm working, I am working on this, doing something, and it's just extremely important. So I've known from the get-go, all I need to do is be myself. And I mean, it's really fucking cliche, but the saying "build it and they will come" is very relevant to me. Build the foundation and people will believe in it. And that's not like, I'm not trying to be cocky. It's just me being me and connecting with people how I know how. And it's
definitely.
I thought you might have just been a big fan of that baseball movie. What's that? Angels in the Outfield?
Or is it Field of Dreams?
Or is it Field of Dreams?
One of those. I don't know.
Real quick.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at them eyebrows, those spicy eyebrows.
They're pretty spicy.
And I'm looking at my eyebrows.
Move my hair out of the way.
They're not as thick, but they're thick. Matthew has some thick boys.
Yep.
Vargo's an Italian name, isn't it?
Yeah, my dad was Italian. He never really, well, I wouldn't say my mom does. I'm Greek and Italian, the two most like hairy things ever, Greek and Italian. My dad was mostly Italian. Why didn't he celebrate it? I don't fucking know. He's a weird dude. He was a weird dude. My mom is Greek. She's very into her heritage and religion and everything.
I love Greek mythology. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Well, let me ask you a question. For her, is it, when you say like, is that, or I don't know shit about Greeks, even though I think me and you have some Greek in us.
We do, yeah.
Small amount.
Yeah.
Small.
We both at the same time.
Small. But no one make this a GIF. No one go small amount and make that a GIF. That's not good. Don't do that.
I would just be happy that someone making GIFs of it.
Is it Catholic? What religion is, like, what's the Greek? Like, what if I was
Greek Orthodox.
Is it
Catholic, right?
Greek Orthodox. Okay.
Orthodox, yeah.
That was my question.
I am very very anti-religion. I stay away from it all.
I think you should go upstairs and argue with your mom about it right now.
Yeah, camera.
If I was to take this camera up there and start to, we could in 30 seconds if I said the right things. Oh man, and she's very into which is fine. Like, individuals do what they want, man. But I don't.
This is true.
Yeah,
I think the problem lies when you have religious zealots in Congress and they start putting religion into everyone else's. Yeah, exactly. I think that's where the issue is. I don't give a fuck what anyone does, but once it starts to impede on what I want to do, that's where the issue is.
That's the overall theme of life for me. I mean, I don't care if it's just religion, whether it's on the opposite side, whether you are gay, I don't care, or whatever. Just don't. Like, bring it on me. I don't care what people do. Literally do not. I want people to be happy. I want them to love who they want. I want them to follow what they want. But just don't make me do what you want, because then I'll be pissed.
It goes right back down. Free spirit.
Yeah, there we go.
That's why it's there.
That's
why it's there.
It's 3 leaves.
Okay.
And free spirit and cursive right above it.
I know I can't lift the computer because it's connected to a bunch of stuff. But
I see it now. Yep.
That's what we believe in. Just float around.
Yeah, I'm very much the same, man.
Me and John are the floatiest two. We're the floatiest musical bunch in the world, I'd say, more than Bjork.
You should put that in your Spotify bio. The floatiest.
We're like.
This is in case anyone online was curious what we're talking about. This is the picture backwards. No, it's not. It fixed itself because the camera's reversed.
You know what it looks like. What it looked like to me at first was the Chili's logo, the restaurant.
It is.
It's a couple little Chili's.
John, do we need to, instead of we have keep the free spirit thing, but we just put stencils of our favorite chain restaurants all over the back?
That actually leads right into what we were going to do. Let's take a break for a second and talk about our sponsor, Chili's. They have delicious ribs.
Oh,
they do.
Oh, baby back.
Don't
baby
they?
Back ribs.
Is it Chili's that does like the $2 dress on like certain nights?
Oh fuck! I don't.
Chili's is a shit show.
I
at least in Philly. Chili's is fucking wild.
They only have one dish that has chilies in it too.
One time I walked into a Chili's, me and my fiance, we walked into a Chili's, and there's 7 people in line, and there's maybe 16 booths open, and the lady comes out and she goes, and I will not do an accent, but she sounded Southern, and she comes out and she goes,
in case anybody was wondering.
I'd love to hear you do the accent.
She goes, you might want to hear it, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to be in trouble. But she comes out.
We can't get canceled.
You know what? Yeah, she comes out and she goes, that side's closed. And we went, oh, okay. So literally 7 different couples left.
Well, that's Chili's for you, man.
Chili's as well. One time,
bunch of angry fiancés. One time, all in there.
Me and you, we were doing a family thing.
When did we go to Chili's?
Years ago.
We never went to Chili's.
Do you remember there was a fight behind us? Chili's is what? Chili's
is crazy.
Chili's is the like East Coast version of like the Waffle House. Like that's where the
hold on. Just so you know, Waffle House is on the East. It's like a southern East Coast.
Yeah. Waffle House is everywhere.
The northern version of the Waffle House.
There's like maybe within an hour of us, there's no Waffle Houses.
No.
So
really?
Yeah, actually me and John.
I love a Waffle House.
John, when's the last time you had a waffle? Never in your life, right? Because you were never in a Waffle House.
Yeah. I haven't been to a Waffle House since like 2017.
Wow.
2018. And I love a Waffle House.
I mean, honestly, I probably haven't either. But
I like their home fries.
I've been to them. I know that.
And you would think that the North Waffle House would be a Denny's because it's similar.
Yeah.
But Denny's has always been quaint and kind to me. But
Denny's
I've been in some Chili's and I've been in some Waffle Houses and you gotta be prepared.
Denny's
saved my
go.
You really do.
Saved my ass when I went to Chicago. In last month, that was a whole thing. I could have a whole episode on that. But I went to Chicago, for some music stuff. Got a hotel outside the city. The only thing that was open by the time I got back to my hotel was this Denny's right across the street. My drunk ass walked over there, stumbled over there, got some.
What'd you get? You get a Grand Slam?
No, I got. Let me tell you, buddy. Denny's has food like wings and onion rings. And
I know they do. Their burgers are great.
I got the appetizer. I went there twice in 4 nights. And the first night I got the appetizer sampler. Half of it was absolutely horrible. The other half was great. The onion rings were fantastic. Actually, that's what I got. And the second time I went back was literally just onion rings. But yeah, that's my Denny's story for now.
Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna have more.
I have one. I have a Denny's story.
Is this when
I have a Denny's story? On my 21st birthday, we all, John and some of his pals and buddies, along with 2 of my friends, took me out.
Matthew,
for my 21st.
You thought it was my birthday party.
Yes.
I had a crew with me.
As I've gotten older, our friends have all just kind of melded.
The same.
Yeah.
But
how far apart are you guys?
John, how far apart did you think we were a couple of weeks ago?
I think I was saying
when we did the introduction on your podcast, he goes, "Oh, we're 2 years apart."
I think you're 2 or 3.
We're 3.5. Even he knows more than you. We're 3.5 years apart.
I'm somewhere in there.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem with this. We've been 3.5 years apart our whole lives. So he's had every day of his life. He's been the same.
I do remember having that conversation. That hasn't changed.
Exactly the same amount of years, minutes, seconds older than me since I was born.
Forever.
Believe it or not. I don't know how you messed that one up. So he also messed up my 21st birthday. So everyone gets hammered. I'm like the least drunk there.
There you go.
We walk into a bar.
John, what's the give him the bar story, and then I want to give him the Denny's story. We'll make it real quick.
So it's me, my one friend who's a big guy, and me and him have been through, the Ringer a bunch.
Yeah.
And then it's
The Ringer.
My other friend who has not been through the Ringer, but I've known him since I was a kid, and he's just a soft little guy. And then Matthew's two friends who neither are capable.
Me and you only went in the bar together.
No, Nick came in too, didn't he? Because we were all getting dirty looks.
If it was when me and you went in first, for sure. Like, we went into that bar first.
So
I was way more sober than you.
You can tell that me and Matthew are Italian.
Yes, absolutely.
By our accents and by our hair.
Yes.
And we walk into an all Irish bar on 2nd Street in South Philly, which is a no-no. It's not a no-no because we didn't get like shit thrown at us, but it's like a who the fuck are these guys kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But we walked in and me and Matthew I'm 5'10", Matthew's 5'11". We're both
big boys,
north of 220. So we walk in, we look like, and I'm hammered, and then I have another friend with me.
I'm hammered.
He could be a third brother, and he's 6 foot, and he's same size. He's bulky, and we
to be fair, we probably came in. We probably came in with a vibe for sure.
We came in hot. We came in hot.
We definitely did.
I could imagine them. I could imagine the Mack brothers drunk on a Philly night.
Oh. One time, remember I told the guy we played a gig with that I would shove him in the trunk?
Yeah.
There you go.
He said, you know what prompted it? It was very short. He goes, "Hey, nice guitar, man." And John goes, "If you touch it, I'll shove you in the trunk."
Sounds very Philly of you.
So I looked at John. I was like, he was trying to be nice to you, dude. All right. So we went in the bar and it was crazy.
And then the whole night, I mean, the rest of us, people.
I had to call his friend an Uber.
Yeah.
Because his friend's girlfriend at the time.
We had a bunch of girls with us too.
Listen. She couldn't figure out how to call an Uber. I had to call my brother's drunk friend who was throwing up in a sewer.
On your 21st.
On my 21st birthday, because his girlfriend of like a year couldn't figure out how to call an Uber. And I'm like, "What are you doing over here?" She's like, "Oh, the phone's going to die." And I'm like, "Click confirm ride." What are you doing? She wasn't, I don't even think she drank. So after all this, the remaining people, we all go to Denny's. And John is just like, everyone besides my mother and I fell asleep in the car. We get to Denny's.
I fell asleep in the booth.
Your mother was
Denny's. My mother was there. Well, she picked us up and took us to Denny's.
Okay.
So we get to Denny's. We're doing good. First 5 minutes, we're doing great. We're good. Everyone's drunk. We're having a great time. John fell asleep. One of my other friends fell asleep. We just kicked him out. We just said, "Go to the car and sleep."
I woke up in the back of the trunk.
John, everyone fell asleep.
Yes, you said you.
Everyone fell asleep, but my mother and I. And I was talking to her. I'm like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Yeah, we had to do a redo of your birthday.
We still never did one.
Yeah, I know.
I still need to have my real 21st birthday.
And how old are you now?
John, how old am I?
26.
Yeah, I'm 26.
5 years later.
I had to do the math because
right.
I'm 20. I was like, wait a minute.
Well, hold on.
I wanted to say 25.
Hold on. Want some gum? Okay.
I still got.
It's a good one, man. That's yeah. My 21st wasn't too rowdy.
How old are you now?
Yo, I got a question. What would 21-year-old you think about you now?
Oh shit.
No chance. That's you. Nope. No chance.
21-year-old me would think I'm like, how stupid can this guy be?
Yeah, I could say that. I mean, 21-year-old me was very fit, into sports, not following my dreams, just more so doing what I thought I was supposed to do. By the time I was 30, I probably thought I'd have been married with kids. I don't want kids at all now. Like, I know that for sure.
Did you have like a single moment, or was it just a series of things you're like, fuck that, no kids?
Honestly, man, like, yeah, as I just got older, I started just seeing my friends have kids and how burdensome it is. And that sounds really shitty. I want people to do whatever they want, have kids, great, wonderful. I don't I'm not opposed to having a partner, getting married, whatever.
Yeah.
But the kids portion is not for me.
That's... You might hit 40, 50 years old and you might go, you know what? I think I changed my mind. I'm gonna have a kid. But that's the beauty of life.
Right.
You started you started Mid Park after you already had a path for yourself. You changed your path. Something happened in your life you didn't anticipate.
Yep.
Like who saw COVID coming? Who saw you didn't see yourself getting laid off from your job? And it all happened. You had to change your thinking.
Yep.
So we spoke during the pre-show, which I guess is not an actual thing.
It's
I
not
just
a pre-show.
made that up. But we did talk, and apparently you're taking a short hiatus. Is that correct?
From the podcast.
What's next in the immediate future for you?
Oh man, got a lot of shit planned. So literally, today, as we're doing this interview, Wednesday, the 23rd of November, had my last podcast published from, just the set of scheduled ones that I had prior. So I have around 30 or so people that filled out an interest form for the next round of interviews. So I need to go through that, schedule those, and I think I'm going to try to find a way to incorporate video just like this. Now that I make the podcast change. That's the podcast. Now I am working on, just began scheduling the first parts of the first Mid-Park Music Midwest Magic Tour, and which is going to happen.
Say that one more time.
Mid-Park Music Midwest Magic Tour. So it's going to be all throughout the Midwest, but I will get out to the Northeast as well. But I want to try in the Midwest as well. First, or that's where I know, most of the bands, majority of from Milwaukee, Chicago, Cleveland, neither here nor there. That's coming in the spring. Essentially, that's just going to be a tour of about 6 to 8 weekends, in which throughout different Midwest cities, I'm going to be the co-host, sponsor of shows, and going to try to sell those fuckers out and get it going. Got the year-end awards coming, the Mid-Park year-end awards. That's probably the next thing, actually. That's going to be on December 11th on Instagram Live.
Is the fix in?
The fix could be in. I'm choosing 13 of the 20 awards on my own.
Venmo?
Yes.
All right. Same. Well, I mean,
Joe, we don't have Venmo. We have Cash App. Sorry, you got to download another app.
I do have that, and you can even send me a check in the mail.
Well, I usually like to go. I put a VPN on. Then I actually travel to a different country, and then I'll wire the money.
Perfect.
I won't even use online.
I'm going to actually just send the guy with some cash to your house. And
there you go.
Have to give me the address. I already know where you're at.
That works too. And the last cool big thing I'm working on, this will be the first time I mention this publicly.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
This is an exclusive.
This is going to be the clip.
There's a full announcement coming on December 18th, but working on with 6 to 8 different bands. The first rendition of the Mid-Park Music Smash Hits album. So going to have bands that are creating brand new original tracks to have a compilation album in which I'm going to do a series of, hopefully maybe twice annually. Very similar to That's What I Call Music or whatever. Now they're on like volume 130.
But they're going to be originals specifically for the collection.
Exactly. Yes.
Are topics predetermined, or it could just be whatever?
Nope. I have. Yeah. And I went through a very, long process of trying to figure out the best way to do it. Should we do covers? Should we do a theme? Should we do this, that? And asking people, polling. What I came to ultimately was allowing people to create freely. Really, the only stipulation is it's obviously got to be some form of rock, indie rock, just not rap or country, but outside of that,
this is such a cool thing. This is so cool.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Just let it rip, man. And that's the plan right now. I'm going to announce that in December, and then aiming to have the album released in February. So I know the bands that are on it. That could be determined later, or I'll divulge that information later. But very excited. That'll be the first one. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. As far as working with the distributors and stuff, I'm figuring it all out as I go. I actually wrote one of the songs on there with a band. Yeah. So that's
cool.
Yeah,
Is that the first song that you'll have?
Is it
that you're written on?
the lyrics?
Yeah, I wrote. Yeah, I know nothing musically. So if I ever say anything like that, you can assume it's always going to be lyrically. Yes. Yeah, lyrically, I wrote the lyrics with one of the bands. And it's sweet, man. I've always wanted to do that. And yes, to answer the question, this is the first time I will have a song, out on streaming platforms that I wrote, which is fucking sweet. All of this, of course.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, all this pending that this comes together exactly how it's planned, but this is the plan, of course. And yeah, I'm just like I said, learning how I go and learning as I go, and yeah. So, album coming, year-end awards, Mid Park Music Tour in the spring. Between all that, gonna have the podcast coming back on, blogs, playlists. I will have a Patreon live hopefully by the end of the year. I very much have been meaning to do that. It's just I'm very particular with shit, and it takes me a long time. That's really it. But
that's so cool, man.
Yeah,
I'm hyped.
I'm like pumped up.
Do we
now.
know any of the bands?
I'd have to go look. I don't think so.
That actually kind of makes it fun because that means there's
Yeah.
just a bunch of bands we never heard of that we could listen to.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the idea is I hope, somebody might listen to the album because they want to support their friends, and then they might find another band or two that they genuinely enjoy. And then, from there, that's kind of how it grows. And that's been the main idea of the Mid Park platform itself, is that growth. We talked about it earlier, mutual growth, it's community. And I've always wanted to be involved in, releasing music and something like that. So this was the way I could figure out how to do it without knowing how to play a damn instrument myself.
Beautiful.
He's a mogul. You're a mogul.
You're a mogul.
I just figured it out. I'm sorry.
God, dude.
I'm sorry, but I just figured it out.
No, I'm
That's the goal.
The moment we get off here, I'm going to text my brother and tell him that you said that. So my brother and I are very different, but also very similar. It's weird. He's married with kids, works in a hospital. Obviously I'm very different in that sense, but our personalities and such are different. And I'll, kind of always just give him periodic updates on Mid Park just to let him know what's up. And he'll always respond just with something simple like gonna be a mogul or something like that. He has literally said mogul several times. That is so funny.
You're gonna buy that hospital.
You know what? At a certain point,
and promote them.
At a certain point, it's not coincidence.
Yeah, man. It's not about money. You said buying the hospital. It is.
That's for fun. Like several years from now,
if there's anything that I would want people to know, it is that this is not about money at all. I have been broke for 10 to 15 years, so I can tolerate another 10 to 15 years being broke. I hope that, and I do believe that as this growth continues, there will be money that comes with it, and I will be able to do this full time and maybe even make it a lucrative thing over the next 10 to 15 years. But it's not about money, man. First and foremost, it is the growth, it is the community, it is the idea behind what everybody is doing and bringing it all together, and all that other shit, the money, the fame, whatever, that just comes with it. And if it comes, great. If not, as long as this keeps growing as it goes, I'm fine with it.
Beautiful.
That's
Kev,
awesome.
We're running out of time.
I see that. We got less than 1 minute. Take it.
We have the cheap Zoom.
That's okay.
So, Kevin, 10 seconds. Plug something. If you want to just fit it all in. This is the last you're going to speak. I promise you.
Absolutely. Midpark.com. Follow Midpark on Instagram and Spotify. Outside of that, I'm so very thankful for the community, and I'm so very thankful for my father and my mother who have essentially instilled into me who I am today.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Amazing.
The Mack brothers have a Christmas song coming out Friday, hopefully. We posted it late.
You and Scoopski.
It gets out. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
We're actually going to have them on in December sometime.
Sick.
But it's called Faith in Vain. It comes out Black Friday.
No doubt, man.
There Goes My Baby, Just a Summer Away.
Kevin, thank you for being on.
Kevin, thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Go follow.